The parade route at the last minute was changed by a fellow named I.B. Hale. I.B. Hale was an FBI agent. He was a personal friend of J. Edgar Hoover's. And one of his relatives wrote to me and told me about this and pointed out that he had passed away very suspiciously. And when she examined his medicine, there was a bottle of medicine in his bathroom of pills, of some sort of medicine, and there were two different sizes. She suspected that he was poisoned or caused a heart attack at least. So the boys, the junior high boys, get rid of everybody that's going to hurt them. Direct testimony, okay? So I urge you folks to get that one. And I have another one, JFK Jr., no question about it. By the way, on Jack Sr., this video puts George Bush in Dealey Plaza at the time of the murders, okay? And the JFK Jr. puts George Bush, the president we have today, unavailable for 3 days during that period. His own staff didn't know where he was. And JFK Jr. was murdered without any question. And if you get that video, you'll find it, you'll see it. It's in there, it's documented. And then we had Bobby. Bobby was murdered, obviously. There were 11 shots in the walls and the door. Saran's gun would only hold 8 bullets, okay? Daryl Gates wrote a book about it. Well, he wrote a book, and the whole book wasn't about that, but that was in the book. And he was trying to explain away this bullet theory about all these extra bullets on the wall and so forth. And it's just like the magic bullet theory with Conley. Didn't make any sense. Daryl Gates was a cover-up specialist. I developed information after I retired. The things I've been, by the way, my life since I retired has been 120% more exciting than at the time I was in the FBI. Okay? More dangerous, too, you bet. And I'll go into that in just a few minutes. If it wasn't through divine intervention, I would not be here giving this lecture today. The good Lord has taken care of me real good. Okay? Amen. But anyway, I forget where I was. I got off the track there. What was I talking about? The bullet in Bobby. Oh, I was talking about Daryl Gates. Okay, I developed information about drugs being brought into Central California by boat, taken over to Tulare, California by truck, and then brought down to Los Angeles. I gave Daryl Gates, I knew Daryl Gates because I was in charge of the FBI, he was in charge of the LAPD. And I gave that information to Daryl Gates with a letter, told him, send somebody over to see me, I'll give you the information. Nobody ever bothered to come see me. And this has been the experience that I've had in dealing with various law enforcement agencies. I develop information, clear-cut violations, and I'm ignored. I have developed information about a CIA child kidnapping ring. There are 91 Americans who disappear every hour. It is estimated between 85 and 90% are children. Now that's over 700,000 Americans disappear every year, but a lot of them are returned, of course. But I have documentation of a CIA child kidnapping ring. They go around in vans, they take runaway kids, they put them in a van, they take them off, and they use them for body parts or for sacrifice or for sex slaves, or in some of them are adopted out around the world. I have an informant, and I asked him, I said, what happens to these kids? He said he's attended 6 auctions where the children anywhere from 2 to 3 up to 21 years of age are placed on a stage with a number on a piece of paper tied around their neck, cord, and the people in the audience bid on that number. The kids sell for up to $50,000 each, okay? And I said, how many kids were at these auctions? He said the fewest number at one was 6, and the most at another auction was 36. 36 times $50,000, that's a lot of money. I've developed other information The auctions have taken place, to my knowledge, right now. Toronto, Canada, outside Las Vegas, Nevada, Houston, Texas, a barn outside Lincoln, Nebraska, and a place in Michigan. I have people writing to me continuously, help me, help me, help me, or furnishing me information. I get letters all the time. I'm a cult member. I want to get out. Where can I do? Where can I go? You talk about getting out, what we're going to do here, okay. And I can't help them. I have so many letters, I can't respond to them. And they don't dare go to law enforcement because law enforcement will turn them in. Our system has been infiltrated, top to bottom, by the Illuminati. And I'll go into that in just a few moments. So we covered Pearl Harbor, Jack Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy, Waco, Koresh, went into town every week to buy groceries. They could have arrested him when he went into Waco. Instead, the BATF came out with tanks, military tanks in violation of Posse Comitatus Act that was passed years ago, 100 years ago or more, that did not disallowed, as a matter of fact, the military to become involved in civilian matters. Ruby Ridge, Randy and Vicki Weaver. Vicki was murdered by Horiuchi, the FBI sharpshooter of Japanese heritage. They tried to indict him locally for murder, and the FBI, Louis Freeh, stepped in, director of the FBI at the time, and did not allow it to happen. Somebody tried to indict him at the federal level, and it didn't happen. I talked to Randy. I gave him some of my research on one occasion, and he's very distraught. He lost not only his wife, but his child. The World Trade Center car bombing. Now, I'm telling you these things. We're talking about dirty business. We're talking about conspiracies. We're talking about murder. By the way, McVeigh was recruited out of Special Forces. The government said, oh, he flunked out. He didn't flunk out. He wrote a letter to his sister. And believe it or not, these guys make mistakes in the news every once in a while. And I've got a copy of that newspaper article that appeared in the Dallas Morning News. And in that article, he said in his letter to his sister, who, by the way, has changed her name and moved down to South Carolina, I think, or North Carolina, South Carolina, that he'd been recruited out of Special Forces to be trained as an assassin and to become involved in the CIA drug operation. So, okay, back to the conspiracy again. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but as I think of things, I'll fill in for it. October 28, 1993. Here's the article, right out of the New York Times. What this article states, this is a former 43-year-old former Egyptian army officer, Iman Salam, S-A-L-E-M, was an FBI informant with the terrorists, World Trade Center bombing, February 26, 1993. And he was commissioned by the terrorists to put the bomb together. And he went to his FBI handler. This is in the article, by the way. And the handler said, he said, we're going to use a dummy bomb. The handler says, no, we're going to use a real bomb. The FBI, not only in advance, they were going to bomb the World Trade Center with the car bomb. They furnished the ingredients for the bomb through Salam. Now, the way this came out, it came out during the trial of the terrorist. Ahmad Yosef was the head terrorist. He's in jail now in Terminal Island, California. Is because Salam wore a body mark when he met with the terrorists at the FBI instruction. And he very wisely wore a body mark when he met with the FBI. It undoubtedly saved him. I'm sure he made about 6 copies, okay, and passed them around. That's how this became known public. So the FBI was involved in the World Trade Center car bombing in 1993. Oklahoma City, April the 19th, 1995. That, by the way, April 19th, is a satanic holiday, okay? Now, I passed out this flyer to everybody in the audience. If you didn't get one, I want you to come back to my table and get it.